بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Beloved brothers and sisters, honorable ulama, huffaz, hujjaj, mothers and fathers, our viewers and listeners, we welcome the listenership of IFM 88.3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. كيف حالكم؟ Alhamdulillah. My beloved brothers and sisters, we praise Allah and send salutations on our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. My beloved brothers and sisters, honorable ulama, huffaz, mothers and fathers, we are extremely honored today to welcome a really well-known figure, not only in South Africa but globally, alhamdulillah, and synonymous with an organization's name that we all know, the Gift of the Givers, alhamdulillah. We are honored to have in our midst and addressing our community and the listenership and our online viewers, Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, alhamdulillah. And I know that he is an individual that does not seek praise, nor does not want his credentials mentioned. But I think as a Muslim community in the city, we must appreciate when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chooses from amongst us to serve the ummah. And so we welcome Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman and Brother Ali and the delegation from Gift of the Givers, not only to Majlis Taqwa, but also to our community. We know that Dr. Sooliman flies in and out and he has a presence in more than 47 countries, walhamdulillah. And we are honored that he has accepted the invitation to address us today. Very briefly, as a background to those who don't know Dr. Sooliman, he was born in Potchefstroom, South Africa, and he attended Sastry College in Durban. And thereafter, he went to the University of KwaZulu-Natal Medical School and he qualified as a medical doctor in 1984. Dr. Sooliman commenced private practice in Pietermaritzburg in 1986, but chose to close his flourishing practice in mid-1994, choosing instead to focus his attention on Gift of the Givers Foundation, which he had founded in August 1992. His establishment of Gift of the Givers Foundation was the consequence of a message Dr. Sooliman, then aged 30, received from Sufi Sheikh Muhammad Safar Effendi Al-Jarahi, his spiritual leader in Istanbul, Turkey, who called on him to serve all people of all races, of all religions, of all colors, of all classes, of all political affiliations, and of any geographical location. A calling he honored then and he continues to honor today, alhamdulillah. His endeavor in this regard has seen Gift of the Givers Foundation emerge as one of the most respected humanitarian organizations in the world and is today the largest disaster response agency of African origin anywhere on the continent, alhamdulillah. Since 1992, Dr. Sooliman has steered the organization to many notable achievements and world firsts, including implementing 21 different categories of projects, delivering well in excess of 6 billion rand of aid, coming to the assistance of millions of people in no fewer than 47 countries across the globe, inclusive of South Africa, designing and developing in 1993 the world's first and only containerized mobile hospital of its kind, which was deployed in Bosnia and has been compared by CNN to any of the best hospitals in Europe. Designing the world's first containerized primary health care unit in 1994. And heading the first organization in the history of South Africa to have received 60 million rand in 2003 from government for the design and successful rollout of 204,000 food parcels in KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape during the hunger crises. These are but just a few of the accomplishments of the Gift of the Givers Foundation. Alhamdulillah. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for choosing Dr. Sooliman to do this work. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him and honor him, to preserve him and the entire team of Gift of the Givers that is serving this ummah. Alhamdulillah. And I just want to close that I've researched and I found that, alhamdulillah, Dr. Sooliman has been awarded by more than 157 awards, alhamdulillah, inclusive of 10 honorary doctorates granted to him and multiple awards from governments, not only South African government, but governments abroad. And we praise Allah for these achievements, and we make dua that Allah continues to bestow His choicest blessings upon Gift of the Givers, Dr. Sooliman and the entire team. On that note, I welcome Dr. Sooliman for his first address in a Port Elizabeth Masjid. Walhamdulillah. فليتفضل مشكورا.
Jazakallah Imam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I see the topic you guys have chosen for me is Rahmatul lil Alameen. So strange, Gift of the Givers runs on Rahmatul lil Alameen. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I want to bring that concept in, link it to my meeting with the Sheikh, link it to the Sufi Tariqah, and show you the spiritual link between that title and what we do. So the story starts in 1986. I moved from Durban to Pietermaritzburg. My mother had passed on in 1984. I finished my internship in 85. Couldn't get a post to study medicine further. Posts were not easily available then. So I moved to Pietermaritzburg, where I was married, to start private practice. The week I moved to Pietermaritzburg, and we need to understand this clearly as I go along, an Afrikaner man from Pretoria also moved to Pietermaritzburg. He had come from America. He was doing a scholarship there in sport or athletics or something, and he landed up in Pietermaritzburg. Now, before I go on, I need to explain or get our people to start getting the concept of service to humanity correct. Because whenever there's a disaster, people first ask you, can you give zakah? We need to change that thinking. Muslims are not the only ones that suffer pain. Muslims are not the only ones that suffer anxiety. People have hardship and difficulty from all races, all religions. And everybody is created by the same God. We need to change the way we do our charity. We need to reflect and do things differently and care for humanity. That's what Rahmatul Alameen means. But I'll explain on it as we go along. So, he comes to Maritzburg. Now, Maritzburg is a big city. He needs a butcher. The butcher he finds is my neighbor. But the reason for that is he needed a doctor. And I was a doctor next to the butcher. You have to see the spiritual link in everything that I say. He could have gone to any butcher in any part of the city, anywhere, but the butcher he was sent to was the butcher that was my neighbor. I started treating him. He tells me of the Sufi Tariqah in Istanbul, an Afrikaner guy. He tells me that he met a spiritual teacher that came across from Turkey into New York. And he met that teacher in St. John the Divine, a huge church in New York. And he made zikr in that church. Jews, Christians, Hindus, Muslims, and people of other faiths followed him in the zikr in that church. He tells me, I'm not going to elaborate, it's going to take too long. He tells me, I need to go to Turkey. I said, Mullah, he said, every time I speak to you, I think of the spiritual teacher. You guys talk the same. I said, Mullah, it's 1986. I haven't even been to Cape Town yet. When am I going to see Turkey? As a born Muslim, as an Afrikaner. He said, what God wills happens. There's a time and a place. August 91, it was several months after the Gulf War. My wife and I land up in this spiritual place. It's a very long story. But we get there, but before I leave, he tells me three things. He said, don't attack the Americans, don't attack the Jews, and don't leave without the Sheikh's permission. And this was post-Gulf War, and you know how angry we were during the Gulf War. So I asked him, do you work for the CIA? Were you telling me stupid things like this? He said, please listen. So I said, okay, I'll keep an open mind. it's always good to keep an open mind. You never know what's inside the head till you get to the other side. So I get to the other side, and the disciple, who's the Khalifa in America, we go to his house. But that too is a very spiritual story. You see, we had no connection anyway. It is the first time we landed in Turkey. We get into Turkey, we get to the airport, we say hotel. We just take us to any hotel. My wife and I were sick. We had just come back from Bangladesh. We had responded to the cyclone in Bangladesh, but before gift of the givers. So we get to the hotel, and after a little rest, we come out, we show them a paper that this is the address we must go to. So the guy says, boat. What do you mean boat? Bosphorus. Okay, so we understand that we're going to go to the Bosphorus. We get there, there's a whole lot of different places. Which one? So we show him the paper, and he said, that one. That time, not many people spoke English. So we get to the boat, we get to the other side. We get to the other side, no taxi is stopping. They're just going fast. A guy standing on the one side with his arms folded, his legs crossed, and anybody comes to him, he says, no, no. So I told my wife, let's try him. She said, but you can see what he's doing, he's chasing everybody away. I said, just let's try him. So we go. Show him the paper, he said, get into the car. It's a city of 15 million people. Even in a small town, you come first time, you ask the taxi driver, you ask the garage, you go somewhere, you ask where to go. This guy, there was no GPS, nothing. He drove to the door of the sheikh as supposed to meet the Khalifa. Straight to the door, no questions asked. We get inside there, meet the sheikh. He says, the Grand Master is in Karagumruk. This man will take you. So he points the man, and the man takes us. He said, let me tour the city first with you, and by Maghrib time, we'll get to the place. We get there by Maghrib time. My wife and I are a little shocked. We thought we came to the wrong place. There were lots of non-Muslims. Americans, Russians, people from Sweden, Germany, Denmark, Norway, Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, Canada, Australia, Southeast Asia and Africa. Jews, Christians of every denomination, Hindus, Muslims, people say they don't believe, all mixed. Nobody was fighting. This was post-Gulf War. No friction. The only thing you saw is love and understanding. I couldn't understand this. The guy who took me and my wife to the tomb was an American Jew. Had I opened my mouth, I would have caused chaos. And that's why he said, be careful, I know how you are. Don't attack Americans and don't attack Jews. Half the people in that gathering were American Jews. What akhlaq, what discipline, what behavior, what respect. More than I can say for many of our Muslims. At one point, the sheikh saw my face all shocked. And he said, my son, what do you see? How did he know what is going on in my heart? I was confused. It was irritating me. What's going on here? He said, my son, what do you see? I said, I'm totally confused. What are people from other nationalities, other religions, and other countries doing in a Muslim-only place? We fought with these people all over the world. Why are they here? He said, my son, remember, mankind is one single nation. The God of all mankind is one. We just call him by different names. Any imam, sheikh, Sufi, priest, pandit, rabbi, anybody who preaches violence, extremism, terrorism, discord, confrontation, disorder, is not is not a man of God. Don't follow him. Anyone who preaches love, kindness, compassion, and mercy is a man of God. Follow him. Two things already passed. American and Jew. You can't attack them. I understood. It was late at night. It's summer. Isha is very late in Turkey in summer. Both of us were still sick. When you comes a new person, the sheikh makes you sit behind him. You have supper with him and you sit behind him. So at some point, as the crowd was getting less, my wife and I said, you know what, I think it's time to go. And then we carried on speaking. At another point, around 1 o'clock in the morning, I turned my head to speak to my wife. Before the words came out, the sheikh turned around and looked at me and he said, you can't go. I hadn't said the words yet. I'm thinking, how does this guy know something? And that's when the transformation happened. That very minute, a German couple came in, and the Sheikh said, watch the beauty of Tariqah. They came here, they made ghusl. They were here for the last Monday and Thursday and Saturday. They meet 3 times a week. And today, Monday, they came, they had made ghusl, and then they took shahada. And then they made nikah. And he said, these are poor people, take out money and give them. The people from Turkey who come to the tariqah got no money themselves. But they emptied their pocket out and gave these people. That is the beauty of Islam in practice. You see, we can give all the long lectures, but the beauty of Islam lies in the practice. I'm coming to Rahmatul Alamin soon. I go to Medina, my first Hajj in May 1992. I stand in front of the Rawza Mubarak. I said, I'm confused. I don't have these things right. I don't understand Tariqah. Should I go back? 6 August 92. I land up back in that place. Thursday night after zikr, 10 p.m., the Sheikh suddenly stops. He looks into my eye and he looks upwards at the same time. In full Turkish, and I don't understand a word of Turkish. He says, my son, and that night I understood every word that he said in Turkish, even though I don't speak Turkish. He said, my son, I'm not asking you, I'm instructing you to form an organization. He gave the name. You know the power of a Sheikh's voice, you know the power of his gaze, you know the power of his words. He gave the name, he said the name will be Waqful Waqifin. Translated, gift of the givers, not exact, but gift of the givers. Serve all people, but love, kindness, compassion and mercy. And remember, the dignity of man is foremost. This is the instruction for the rest of your life. I was 30 years old. He said, my son, clothe the naked, feed the hungry, provide water to the thirsty. And everything that you do, be the best at what you do. What did the Prophet ﷺ say? Feed the hungry, provide water to the thirsty, enjoin good, forbid evil. Don't speak except if you have to say good things. Don't say bad things. What did Hazrat Ghaus Pak say? Say, if I had all the resources in the world, I would feed people. What did Muhyiddin Chishti say? Everybody says, feed the people. And then he says, my son, khairun nas, mayanfa'un nas. Best among people are those who benefit mankind. Listen carefully. I am not using the word Muslim. I'm saying best among people are those who benefit mankind unconditionally. Black, white, Indian, colored, Arab, Muslim, Jew, Christian, no non-believer. Not your job to decide or to judge. You just serve unconditionally. Why? Because he came as Rahmatal lil Alameen. He didn't come as Rahmatal lil Muslimin. He came from Rabbal Alameen, from the creator of all the worlds, as Rahmatal lil Alameen, a mercy unto the entire universe. Allah said, I was a hidden treasure and I wanted to be known. So I created creation. But the first light that I created was the light Nuri Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And from that light, I created everything. Every animal, every non-Muslim has the light of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Who are we to decide who to help and not to help? That help has to be unconditionally to all human beings because they all come from the same one God. He said, my son, remember that whatever you do is done through you and not by you. I asked him, all these things do you think that I do? It's not humanly possible. I'll give you one example if you've got time. I asked him, I said, how come you speak Turkish? I understand. And other people speak Turkish. I'm lost. I don't understand. He said, my son, when the hearts connect and the souls connect, the words become understandable. I said, what exactly do you want me to do? I'm a doctor. I've got 3 practices in a place called Pietermaritzburg in South Africa. And like, when I'm going to do this? He told me one line. You will know. I will know what? What I want to know? The moment I walked out of that place, that same 6 August 1992, it came to me, respond to the civil war in Bosnia. The same month, I took in 32 containers of aid into a war zone all alone. 3 months later, 8 containers of aid, winter items. The chill factor in Eastern Europe reaches minus 21 degrees. 8 containers of winter aid. And the following year, we designed the world's first containerized mobile hospital. They said, be the best. We're not going to do anything half-short. We built the world's first containerized mobile hospital, a product of South African technology, South African engineering, built in Pretoria, taken from Africa into Europe. The CNN commentator filmed the hospital on 1st February 94. You see, we must get into the habit of being perfect at what we do. People say charity, it's all a nonsense thing. Don't worry, just give anything out. No expired food, no expired medicine, no torn clothes, no bottle lying the rain or lying outside in the sun for a long time, no second-hand issues, no treating people like they are a burden or pain. Don't do that, because the Prophet ﷺ came as a mercy, as a healing to everyone. You say you stand, you read salami every time. I want to read salami. What does the salami mean? If your action does not emulate what the Holy Prophet ﷺ does, you are wasting your time, sorry. You are insulting him. Yes, I can read salami behind you, but I'm not going to do what you did. That's what you're telling him. So change your way of thinking and don't think that's salvation for you to read salami. Salvation doesn't lie in that. Salvation lies in what he did. He found the poor, he found the old, he found the different religions. He went and did it himself because that's who he was. Rahmatan lil Alameen. We need to do that. Going for Hajj, going for Umrah. What Surah Allah tells in Surah Maun? Woe to the worshippers who pray but neglect to do worldly duties. Takes the prayer and throws it in your face. I don't need your prayer. Why do I need your prayer? You pray for yourself. I need your prayer because to prepare your mind for service to do neighborly needs. Neighborly needs don't mean Muslim. Neighborly needs means humanity. Cat, dog, animal creation. That's what neighborly needs means. Have we understood that concept? No, we haven't. We need to change the thinking. So, CNN films the hospital and says the South African containerized mobile hospital is equal to any of the best hospitals in Europe. In 2005, I get called by the Bosnian president to visit this country to say thank you. I said, not necessary. He said, you're going to come. So my family and I go. The person we put in charge of the hospital was still there. He says, my friend, you said that the hospital the theater can do everything besides heart surgery. I said, yes, that's what I said. He said, come here, meet this woman. He brings the woman. He said, this lady had shrapnel in her heart. And we removed the shrapnel from her heart in this theater that you South Africans provided. And you see these 4 children, they were born to this lady in this hospital. After the hospital, the theater, the shrapnel was removed from her heart in this theater. When you do things with good intention, when you do things with sincerely, that's when Allah puts the barakah. The Sheikh, I'll give you one more story, but time is short. The Sheikh tells me, my son, the time to sit in the corner and read tasbih is finished. That's not the time now. The time is to get up and go to the aid of people suffering all over the country and all over the world. The final story. November 2022 is a spiritual link. Oh, one more story, sorry, before that. I go to Syria. I don't know where to help. I'm going everywhere and I'm about to walk out. I can't find a medical guy. I can't find somebody who speaks English. As I'm about to walk out, everybody's running after one man that has come down. They said, there's Dr. Ahmad Gandoor. There's Dr. Ahmad Gandoor. I go to him. I took a chance. I said, you Dr. Ahmad Gandoor? He says, yes. Oh, you speak English. Is there a place here that we can convert a building into a hospital? He said, come, I got the building. We go down. He shows me a building. It's supposed to be an old age home. But in the Arab world, nobody stays in an old age home. He said, no, nobody took the building. I said, the building is too small. He said, but we haven't even started yet. I said, I'm gifted to give us, this building is too small. He said, okay, we need an engineer. Can we go upwards? He said, we need an engineer. As we're walking, somebody walks in and said, I'm sorry, also speaks English. I overheard your conversation. You need an engineer? I'm an engineer. What's the chance? An engineer walks into the building. He said, I said, how far can we go up? He says, 2 floors. I said, what kind of engineer are you? He said, what do you mean? I said, where's the map, the architectural drawing, the steel structure, the concrete, how much steel, how strong it is? How you can tell me a thing like that without even seeing the concrete thing? He said, hey, take it easy. I'm the guy that built this building. That's not the funny part. The place was called Darkush. He left the city of Darkush several years ago. 15 million Syrians displaced internally and externally. This man never came back. The day I needed an engineer, not any engineer, the engineer that built this building, and I needed him in this minute of that hour, he walked into the building. I was speaking generally. They said, do you know who conquered this city? I said, I don't know. I don't know Syria. He said, Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. The one of the Ashra Abu Bashara, the one of the 10 promised paradise. The mosque we were repairing without knowing was the mosque of Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. But more significantly, why was I taken to Darkush? Because my sheikh belongs to the Halveti Jarahi Tariqa of Istanbul. And the root of that Tariqa is Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah. There is no coincidence in Tariqa. So the final story. November 2022. My friend calls me from Cape Town and says, do you want to meet the new general manager of Turkish Airlines? I said, in my business, I'm going to know everybody. He said, he's coming from San Francisco, he's moving to Cape Town. Let's meet him. I said, not now. We meet him when the universe tells me to meet him. No notes are written down. 1st February 2023, I'm in the plane about to leave from Durban to Cape Town. The thought comes in my head, you better phone the guy now. So I phoned him. I said, Nisar, is this guy available? I'll call you back now, 2 minutes. He calls me back. He said, 9:30, Surrey restaurant, waterfront. We go and eat there 9:30 with him. Get off the plane, go straight to the restaurant. I meet him. I said, Muhammad, my first words to him, Muhammad, in the event an earthquake hits a country, can you as an airline move search and rescue personnel, medical personnel, dog handlers, dogs, search and rescue team, search and rescue equipment, medical equipment, tents, blankets, food, medicines, bottled water, sanitary pads, diapers, move it quickly. No obstruction, no bureaucracy, no delay, and don't lose anything. He says, done. 5 days later, 4:10 a.m., 6 February, the earthquake hits his country. What's the chances of that being a coincidence? I didn't speak to him in November. 5 days before the earthquake hits, I'm asked to speak to him then. Within 24 hours, the search and rescue team is on the plane. Within 48 hours, the dogs are on the plane and the dog handlers. On day 8, the dog tells us go to that building in a place called Hatay. 172, I'll finish it in the next minute. 172 countries responded. Some sent more than one team. 300 teams went. Only 12 teams were selected to go to Hatay. 2 Chinese government, 2 Turkish government, 1 Italian, 1 Jordanian, 1 Omani, 1 Saudi, 1 Croatian, 1 Serbian, 1 Bosnian, a gift of the US. Only 12 teams allowed to go to Hatay. The city is 99% destroyed, wiped off the face of the earth. We're the only guys in the world that had 5 dogs. On day 8, the dog says go there. We pull out alive a 90-year-old grandmother. It was 12-story building that pancaked. The head of the Bosnian team comes to my team member, pats him on the shoulder, and he starts sobbing. So I asked him what happened. He said, we know the name of your organization. So I asked, what do you mean? He takes out the wallet. In the wallet is a picture. In the picture is a baby and a woman. He said, that baby, that's me. That woman, that's my mother. We know your name. That's what do you mean? In 1993, you guys brought a hospital in Bosnia. I was born in that hospital. Tariqa, Rahmatul Alameen, serve the Prophet sallallahu with distinction. We look after the bees. We look after pets. We look after cattle, sheep, and horses. We look after the environment because all is created by Allah. And the Holy Prophet who said, as rahmatan lil alameen, it's time to change your thinking. Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We say Jazakallah khairan to Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman for that very inspiring nasiha. And there's so much to take from it, but one, I think, key takeaway for myself was that it is time to live the legacy of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And may Allah accept everything that you do, Doc, and the gift of the givers. May Allah bless you, continue to guide you, and permit that your organization continues to serve the global ummah for decades, centuries to come. Ameen. Jazakallah khairan. Very quickly, brothers and sisters, just some announcements. Inshallah, there is a Jesus in Islam exhibition at Masjid Abrar on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. They are inviting everyone to bring along non-Muslim family and friends for that exhibition, inshallah. And then quickly, we have Umrah greetings. The following individuals bid their family, friends and relatives farewell on their departure to Makkah al-Mukarramah, and they seek forgiveness from the community, and that we must make dua for them that Allah grants them their health and strength, taqwa and iman to fulfill the obligations of their Umrah. Rida and Mahira Hendricks have departed already, and they've arrived safely in Medina, and they request du'as. They are arriving on Monday, the 30th of September, inshallah. And then the following individuals greet upon their departure: Ziyad and Shireen Muhammad, Saud and Azra Chanson, departing today, inshallah, leaving their home this afternoon. And then we have Sister Duriya Plaikis, departing on Sunday, the 22nd of September. Sister Subaida Hassan, departing on Sunday, the 22nd of September, leaving her home at 6 a.m. We have Brother Nabil and Sister Khawa Luki, departing on Monday, the 23rd of September, leaving their home at 6 a.m. Brother Biyadin and Sister Mishka Nitianison Adams, departing on Tuesday, the 24th of September. We make dua that Allah grants them an Umrah Maqbula and Mabrura. May Allah take them safely and accept their ibadah and return them safely. Ameen. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة، حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح، حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Alhamdulillah. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد في الأولين والآخرين. أما بعد، عباد الله، فإني أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله العلي العظيم القائل في كتابه الكريم: قل إن كنتم تحبون الله فاتبعوني يحببكم الله ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم والله غفور رحيم. أيها المسلمون، لقد بعث النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم في وقت كان العالم كله يعاني أزمة ظاهرة في الدين والقيم والأخلاق، فأرسله الله تعالى رحمة مهداة للعالمين. قال الله تعالى: وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: يا أيها الناس إنما أنا رحمة مهداة، رواه الطبراني. وقال أيضا: إنما بعثني رحمة للعالمين، رواه أحمد وأبو داود. ومن مظاهر رحمته صلى الله عليه وسلم بالعالمين، أرسله الله ليخرج العباد من عبادة العباد إلى عبادة الله. أرسله الله لتحرير القلوب من التعلق بالأموات والأشجار والأحجار. أرسله الله لتحرير الناس من الاعتقادات المناقضة للعقل السليم والشرائع. أرسله الله بدين يدعو إلى الإيمان بجميع الأنبياء وجميع الكتب. قال الله تعالى: آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله. وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: الأنبياء إخوة لعلات، أمهاتهم شتى ودينهم واحد، رواه البخاري. أرسله الله بدين موافق للفطرة السليمة. أرسله الله لتحرير المرأة من ظلم الجاهلية. وأرسله الله بشريعة سمحة ليس فيها آثار ولا أغلال ولا حرج. قال الله تعالى: ما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولوالدي ولوالديكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي تقدست أسماؤه وسمت آلاؤه ومجدت رسله وأنبياؤه. نحمده تعالى على نعمة الإيمان ونشكره على ما تفضل من الإحسان وما أولانا من الامتنان. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الواحد بلا عدد الدام بلا أمد، شهادة إيمان وإيقان وقبول وإذعان. ونشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله سيد وعدنان. أما بعد، فإن الله قال: فلا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون وبينكم معالمه فاتقوا الله واعبدوه واتكلوا عليه وأطيعوه والله يجزي المحسنين. واعلموا أن المولى الكريم خص نبيه بالصلاة والتسليم، فقال ولم يزل قائلا عليما وآمرا حكيما: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم صلاة دائمة كاملة إلى يوم الدين، وعلى آله الأطهار وصحبه الأبرار ما تقلبت الشموس والأقمار، وسلم تسليما كثيرا إلى يوم المآب. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم ثبت علينا الإيمان وارحمنا بالقرآن واجعلنا في عز وأمان. اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين، اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين، اللهم انصر المسلمين في فلسطين وفي غزة وفي كل مكان. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء والأموات، إنك سميع قريب مجيب الدعوات أرحم الراحمين. عباد الله، اذكروا العظيم اذكركم واشكروه على ما يزدكم وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة. You can just quickly fill the sufuf min fadlikum. There are people at the door. Quickly fill the safs in front of you. Very quickly min fadlikum. And the space inshallah on the sides. MashaAllah, fill the sides of the sufuf very quickly before making a new saf. There's space on the sides here, on the left hand side. Those entering the masjid, move to your left min fadlikum very quickly. جزاكم خيرا.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم استووا صفوفكم يرحمكم الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. يا أيتها النفس المطمئنة ارجعي إلى ربك راضية مرضية فادخلي في عبادي وادخلي جنتي. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله العظيم الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم ونتوب إليه. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تبارك ربنا وتعاليت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. وقال ربكم ادعوني استجب لكم. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم آت أنفسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار يا رب العالمين. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.